Welcome back to the Coppa Delle Alpi, a challenging motorsport event spanning 1,000 miles of freezing Alpine passes across 4 countries in just a few days. Since signing on and collecting our all-important swag bags, we've covered 500 incredible miles, driven mountain passes seemingly designed by the driving gods, and of course, had plenty of Italian coffee to keep us going. And this is us, in the new Lamborghini Urus S, with over 600 horsepower from its twin turbocharged 4-litre V8, rear wheel steering and revised exhaust. This is the ultimate media car to help us share this stunning rally with you, and at the end of it all, we get to share a review having lived with the Lambo for over 1,000 miles. Look at this place, it's beautiful, and check out the cars we've got here. So this is the really romantic part of it, that we're having cars that you'd often see in a museum being used in environments like this. Like, it's so gorgeous. Actually, there's not as much snow up here as you might think for this time of the year. We are in the height of ski season, but that's not exactly what we're here for. We're here for these stunning vehicles being on a time trial. Woo! You guys in anticipation packed 5 litres just in case.
Yeah. Of course.
And sure enough.
Yeah. It's all about preparation, right?
And before the pass,
yeah,
the final gasoline was dead. It was
out of betrieb.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Exactly.
Yeah. So the last petrol station was closed.
Yeah, man.
We gambled on the last one.
The next one is 25 kilometers away,
but it's over that.
We need to go over the pass, so.
You know, in the pass you don't want to take a risk.
Wow. So you packed a backup 5 litres.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, bro. You can pour it in, but
we don't need to spoil this.
Don't spoil anything, man.
Do you not have a funnel?
Fresh. No, I don't think so. Maybe you have one. Could you check? Maybe you have one in the back of the Urus.
I knew this would come in handy. Do it this way, then hopefully the top will have a bit of a funnel, right?
Yeah, that will work.
Yeah.
Wow! Nice, man.
Okay.
Alright, so James made a nice funnel.
That's 2 miles.
Okay, try that. Try that. It's definitely fuel, not de-icer, right? It was at this point I wasn't quite sure about the viscosity of whatever it was he was pouring in to that 911. So what happened?
Bro, do you remember they just said
Yeah?
it isn't coolant or something, right?
Right.
You know what it was?
What?
Show in the video. This happened like
What was it?
2 minutes after we filled the tank, right?
They gave us probably diesel.
No.
Yeah, bro.
It did look weird.
We were smoking like crazy, so we
When we're
stopped.
following you, every downshift is
Exactly.
puffs of smoke. Like,
Yeah,
coming
man.
out
So
of
we
the back.
mixed up with some other petrol from the escort car, and
So
then
it just worked its way through?
a bit, yeah, mixture.
Dude, you were so, do you know how lucky you are that just didn't...
Hey,
Look
we
at
were
this.
standing there, the whole mountain was wide, man.
5 minutes later.
I was thinking, I was like, I don't know if it's the altitude or something, but I'm
You should
looking
have
at that
jinxed
stuff
it, man.
and I was like, just the viscosity of it,
Yeah?
the like thickness of the fluid, it looked different.
You jinxed
I
it.
was like, yeah, I did say. I was like,
Yeah, man.
it's a good job you only put in 5 litres.
Yeah.
No, less.
It was a little bit less even.
Man,
yeah.
if it was more, it probably would have been a game over, I think. Huh? So then you diluted it from a petrol pump somewhere.
Yeah, no, from the escort, the other
Oh, I see. Okay.
Freighter side team. They had like a 10 liter
Yeah,
gallon.
okay.
So.
Yeah.
moves, man. That thing absolutely shifts. It's a really interesting comparison, really, because in terms of platforms, they are worlds apart. Absolutely worlds apart. We've got this big, heavy, but like super horsepower SUV, high center of gravity, practical, four-wheel drive, automatic box. And then you've got a 2.7 RS. I mean, that thing probably weighs maybe a ton. And just seeing it deal with these corners, the way it floats down here, as well as the size. Do not underestimate the importance of the size of the car down a tight, twisty. This is probably like a lane and a half. I wouldn't call it a full 2 lanes, but placing this and seeing the guy in the 2.7 place that, I mean, he's like a mosquito down a drain pipe, whereas we are over 2 tons, 660 horsepower. That weighs just over a ton and is around about 210 horsepower. At least it was from factory. He might have had some tweakery going on because it was moving. While the Coppa Delle Alpi is a truly beautiful event, ultimately these guys are racing and they're constantly against the clock. It's a challenge of driver experience, co-pilot accuracy, and trust in the instruments that help these teams tackle the timed stages with precision. You can generally tell the ones which are taking it seriously because they sort of creep over the line just to make sure at the exact point at when they have broken the beam. Once they have, there's multiple techniques inside the car that allow them to keep pace of their average speed. So this guy's going a bit slow, you see? And he's watching. See that? Co-driver was watching. As they go, they set their own clocks, and that helps them build that pace and measure exactly where they are. You can see just here these timing beams. One there, one there. As the car crosses this beam, the timing equipment in the back of this gentleman's car starts. He calls them forward, and as soon as it breaks that beam, that is when they are literally on the clock. It's kind of crazy, but when you get into it, it becomes really addictive. Now, obviously, we're not part of it on this particular trip, but we're warming up to it. We're getting prepped for it. We're getting in the mood for later on in the year. I remember trying it for the first time when I did Mille Miglia, I think it was 2018, and do not underestimate the skill involved. We didn't do too well, but hopefully this year we can get some tips and see if we can rank a little bit higher. But actually, timing aside, look, the front runners taking it fairly seriously. There's 700 cars on the main event, and truthfully, there's a good proportion of them who, yes, they take part in it, but they're just along for the most beautiful ride. And I think that's it, really. It's about being amongst like-minded people in very special cars in beautiful environments. So I'm looking forward to the big one because there's also a lot of modern cars in that one too, particularly Ferraris, because they do a dedicated tribute to Ferrari, and yeah, that one's a pretty special event. Between stages, the endless beauty of the Alpine passes unfold for hundreds of miles, dipping low into lush valleys and high into snow-capped terrain. But for the Porsche boys, it's not all smooth sailing. It's coming up really pretty. Yeah, it's a lot, man. It's pretty heavy. I know. I can't
theory, we could make the finish, I guess.
It's not stopping.
Coming less.
No.
But we didn't saw it like we fueled up yesterday.
Okay, so they're on the phone to the owner of the car to see if he has any experience in this. He said it could be an overflow. It could be, but it's been going for a while. It's been going for like 10 minutes. Yeah. We are 1 hour, just 1 hour from the finish line. These guys have been doing so well. You got to make it somehow, man. You got to make it.
We push it if we need to.
If you need to. Do you think it might have something to do with the diesel? The Dolomites, an incredible mountain range located in northeastern Italy. The Dolomites are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized for their outstanding beauty and importance to the world. The region is comprised of 18 mountain peaks that span over 140 miles, with the highest being Marmolada at almost 11,000 feet. And through all the breathtaking wilderness winds some of the greatest driving roads I have ever had the privilege of experiencing. This is honestly one of the wildest stretches of tarmac I've ever seen. Look at this. You cut through the rock in a hairpin under the mountain. It's like they built a racetrack in Narnia. What on earth? That is such a cool piece of tarmac. I've never seen anything quite like that. Wow. As for the new Urus S, it's been incredible. I can think of few cars with such a wide breadth of ability. It's a true Jekyll and Hyde car. One moment you're cruising in Strada, a relaxed configuration absorbing the road with effortless torque. The next minute you're on a tight Alpine pass, and with the flick of a switch to Sport, the Urus totally transforms, sharpening throttle response, enhancing agility, and allowing you to tackle these incredible driving roads like a sports car on stilts. Coincidentally, this video goes live the same week as the Ferrari Purosangue hits the journalists, and all of a sudden this tornado from Santa Agata Bolognese seems like great value. What a machine. So good news, it stopped?
Yeah, man. Yeah, like,
check it out.
Like 20 kilometers, 10 kilometers.
So it was overflow. Wow. All right, man. And just like that, the Coppa Delle Alpi was over. 1,000 miles of goosebump-inducing beauty, iconic cars, and of course, exceptional food. But as cliche as it sounds, it's the people that really make the event. I've been lucky to travel the world and meet petrol heads from all walks of life, but there's something about the purest nature of tackling the elements in a classic car that brings out the best of them. In short, I've had an incredible time, discovered new places, made new friends, and given ourselves just a taste of what's to come in the main Mille Miglia event later this year.
And the last one, and we took the Ferrari on the left-hander. He was surprised that the Beetle can overtake the Ferrari.
All right, there we have it, 1,000 miles. We've probably crossed every Alp I can think of, been to the most beautiful places in Europe. We've met fantastic people, we've seen phenomenal cars, now we're crossing the line. Coppa Delle Alpi 2023. It's been a hell of a warm-up for the main event in June. Comments below, what car should we do it in? Unfortunately, we can't take the Urus, we got to do it in something authentic and classic. A gift for me.
Welcome to Warmio.
Thank you so much, that is awesome. Thanks, buddy. And importantly, really cool people.
Now we will see what the results are. We're curious. We want to know.
Yeah, we can't wait.
We can't wait.
Competition.
Competition. Yes. Well, it's in me. And in her.
It was great. Really a very great event. Sympathetic people. Nice with the lunch, with the dinner, and everything well arranged. And the scenery was amazing. It was really top.
It was a lot of fun.
All good, had a good time?
Grazie mille to the Mille Miglia team. So it was such a great ride and we are deeply impressed. And we hopefully come back next year.
The people are coming from Portugal to join the rally.
Yes, we came from Portugal, very far away, but it's very, very nice. It was very nice.
The best race ever, even though it was our first one. It was the best.
So there was a Ferrari. And usually Ferraris don't like when Beetles overtake. So they give you a hard time. So you have to take the momentum where he doesn't expect it. The first time we weren't prepared. We only had like, that was everything we had for calculating. So in Brescia in the morning we wanted to have a coffee and everybody with their computers. So we thought maybe we look for an app. Then we downloaded an app and I don't know. Everything which was in between a second is good for you. Is good for us.
Bis zum nächsten Mal. Coppa Delle Alpi 2023. Jetzt richtig?
Okay, this is the awards ceremony. We're about to hand over some trophies to some incredible drivers. Now look, before we get to that, I know this sounds cliche, But obviously the cars are fantastic, the food's been amazing, the scenery has been breathtaking, the route that the organisers have put on have been some of the best I've ever experienced. But it really is all about the people. These guys over here, I've met some phenomenal people from all over the world, great drivers, passionate petrol heads, but importantly they're just down to earth, good folk, and I'm really, really looking forward to catching up with them on the main event in June, which of course we're going to take you along for the ride. So thanks for watching, we shall see you next time. Ciao!